Antoinette Evans grew up in the western suburbs and is a partner of Hope United Church of Christ in Naperville. She is a passionate advocate of inclusion, equity, and diversity and finds ways to remain involved in meaningful conversation and action both in and out of work. Antoinette is recently married. Welcome to the Married Club, Antoinette, and is enjoying building her family and future with her partner. I present to you Antoinette Evans.
Thank you, Ken, for that introduction. I'm grateful for all of you guys joining us tonight, and I'm really excited to hear more from stories from our other storytellers tonight. I'm actually going to start my story with a poem, not written by me, just to be clear. A black girl going into the woman her mother desired and prayed for, walks alone and afraid of both their angers. That's Generations 2 by Audre Lorde. I was built for this. When I was 9 years old, I had my first identity crisis. In all reality, I'd had this identity crisis long before that when I was only drawing images of blonde-haired, blue-eyed people in kindergarten. But we'll start at the age of 9, when my parents realized that I was not happy in my brown skin and made an effort to change that. Years of being in school where you could count the number of Black students in the class and in the entire school on just one or two hands, I wanted to look like the images that said, this is what beauty is. This is what you need to do, say, and look like to be liked and accepted. My greasy, fresh pressed hair wasn't where it was at for me. And I was over being the topic of discussion. How did you get your hair like that? You mean when you pull it out, it just stays in the same place? Your curls are so tight. Why is your hair straight sometimes and kinky others? Can I touch it? As hands are already knuckle deep in my scalp. I was an avid reader from an early age, and the book Thank You, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a profound impact on my acceptance of myself. Coupled with trips to the DuSable Museum in Chicago and other films and books my parents used to supplement my education, I found the space for me to grow into my truth, love of my beautiful brown skin, and all of the majesty that comes with being a Black woman. A space that was cultivated and nurtured by my parents. Ironic, isn't it? Those who build you up to be strong, capable, and whole can't always accept the fruits that grow from their labor. But I was built for this. My second identity crisis would come just about 5 years later. I can't recall now the exact moment I started to wonder, but the unknown questions that had been in the recesses of my mind began to surface. Ooh, that boy is cute. Ooh, that girl is cute. Wait, what? This time, learning to love myself would take more. It would not be accompanied by the support of nurturing parents or readily available books, films, and people I could look to as examples. I would have to find my own way, doing it in secret, unsure who could be a true confidant. And I would be questioning what I thought were core principles of my belief system that contradicted with my very being. I spent my high school years, as many teenagers do, flexing my wings, observing the social world around me, and determining what was core to me versus changeable over time based on experiences and exposure. Outwardly, I continued to navigate loving myself as a Black female in America by growing my knowledge of history and joining our high school's gospel choir and groups focused on Black students. Meanwhile, inwardly challenging my feelings regarding my sexuality, not yet ready to voice them to others. I knew there was a climactic decision point I was hurtling towards, but I didn't yet know what that decision would be. I had my first official boyfriend my sophomore year of high school. I can remember the feeling of excitement in exploring this world of attraction. and recall that it was nothing like my boyfriend from kindergarten, a cute blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy with dimples named PJ. This was real, and it was adult-like, and it was expected. He was a Black senior, and the allure of dating an older guy, supposedly more mature, was appealing. He was smart, as were everyone at the Math and Science Academy I attended, and he was musically inclined. I'd spend hours listening to him play the piano in his churchy, jazzy style. But if I'm really attracted to this guy, and I was, what then about the awakening that I was having? Does this mean it was just curiosity? I mean, I am curious by nature. Or perhaps, as my church would have told me, I was possessed and I lost my way, but prayer has gotten me back on track. I was built for this. My inner awakening was not silenced. As I explored my attraction to guys, I found a confidant or two to express my wanderings. While outwardly to most I was silent, I knew it was important for me to figure this out before I subjected myself to the scrutiny of everyone else around me. I needed the answers myself before I could answer the questions I knew would come. What about your faith? What about the Bible? What happened to make you like this? When did this start? Are you into only women? If you're into men, can't you just not? I was headed to California for college. At this point, I'd become more interested in exploring this other attraction, having navigated the attraction to guys and found that it was valid, but not complete. I wasn't done yet coming into my own, and I needed to know. I met someone online who lived in California. Convenient, I know, as I was headed that way and away from all who knew me in one singular identity. I felt I was going to get my chance to figure this thing out once and for all. And explore my attraction to women I did. The story of my first girlfriend is not much different than the story of my first boyfriend or any other young love. She was Mexican-American and into art, poetry, and rock music, but there was one difference. This relationship was considered forbidden. Unfortunately, my goal of finding the answers for myself before having to answer them for others was quickly taken from me when my girlfriend's grandmother found out about our relationship and called my grandmother from California at 10 p.m. at night. Now, in case you're still doing the math, this means that the matter was so urgent, she called my grandmother at midnight Central Standard Time. My mother received the news from my grandmother just a day after they dropped me off at college while they were still on the road back to Illinois. I had been preparing to figure out the answers to so many questions for myself, but I wasn't ready for the first question that I was presented with from my mother. Are you a dyke? My timeline for coming into my own was accelerated, and I had to have answers, or so I thought. I quickly made the choice to not back down from figuring myself out fully. I knew doing so could potentially lead me to a lifetime of second guessing and unhappiness. I didn't have the tools, something that was highlighted by my arguing with my mother and using the term lifestyle to define what was happening. Mother, why would I choose this lifestyle that I know could alienate me from my family and my church? I mean, I was partway there. I at least understood that what was going on was not a choice. Thus started a new tone to my relationship with my mother. I love you and you're my daughter, but I will never accept this and I will continue to pray for your soul. I was built for this. The next several years were the loneliest and most revealing years yet for me. Lonely in that I had a distinct break in closeness with my family that to this day remains fragmented. We navigate conversations and gather together with love, but they don't know me fully by their choice to alienate a whole part of my identity. Revealing because I found refuge in the open arms of friends who would accept me fully and support me through what would be normal relationship pitfalls. Revealing also because I found strength in loving myself fully that over time I came to understand was a gift from my ancestors. You see, the Black experience in America is vast. It comes in many shades and tones. It has layers and depth that is as deep and as rich as the soil of our ancestors. The Black experience in America has some common threads, though. One of which is that anyone living today has the strength of their ancestors who survived horror upon horror, allowing us to be here today. They didn't choose to endure these horrors. They survived them as they were subjected. From the journey across the treacherous waters to being stripped from their beliefs and education opportunities, to the bitter bite of a whip, the forced labor, the separation of family, the violation of the Black woman, the horrors go on and on. And any of us here today were birthed from those who survived. We're strong. For some of us, stronger than we yet realize. Out of Pain has birthed the poetry of Audre Lorde, the dance of Katherine Dunham, and the sounds of Billie Holiday. Innovation, the inventions of the stoplight, the ice cream scoop, the home security system, GPS. Knowledge, the minds of W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, and Katherine Johnson, and so many others. So much depth and understanding, a richness of survival and love. I went to college with a perm, and I came out in the beginning stages of growing my locks. Having dug further into appreciation of myself, my history, and my future possibilities. And through embracing my heritage, I found strength to embrace my sexuality. Today, I navigate a world that will at times accept me as bisexual long before they will accept me as Black. And a family that will accept me as a Black woman long before they accept me as bisexual. But my identity is full. I cannot separate my womanhood from my Blackness, nor my Blackness from being bisexual. I am a fully actualized being in the image of my ancestors, birthed from richness and strength. I was built to withstand. I was built to overstand. I was built to be full and free. I was built to nurture and love. I was built for this. Thank you.